I'm from this school, which is the Happy Elementary school. I've been here since mid-November last year, so I've met a couple of everyone. But obviously there's been new additions to each village, so just hi. Maybe we can start off with introducing our names. Does everyone want to do that? Because we don't really know. I know you're Gabrielle. I don't know your name, sorry.
Martin.
Martin.
My name is Frederick.
Frederick.
Donnie.
Stain, that's Stain. John, obviously. Ari.
Obviously.
Isaiah.
Yes. Hello.
Josh.
Josh, hello.
Cindy.
Hello.
Peggy.
Hello. Oh. Daisy. That's our HR.
Roy.
Roy.
Jason.
Nick.
Yes, so yes. I'm starting out with this slide. I'm presenting the topic on the learning difference between Taiwanese students and native speaker students from the first person's point of view, which is me. Just a little bit on my background, because obviously I'm Asian, I'm Taiwanese. I was born in Taiwan, and we immigrated to Sydney, Australia at the age of 12. So I'm sort of like the bilingual teacher here. I'm fluent in Mandarin, Taiwanese, and English. I'm starting off with this slide because I picked this up from our first seminar. I can't remember her English name though. Leo? Who's Leo?
Yeah.
So what was that presenter's name? She did collaborative team teaching.
Oh gosh, I
from,
can't remember either. But she was a teacher from. She was a teacher. No, she was a director from.
New Taipei City.
Yeah, New Taipei City.
Pardon? Marie, really? Oh my God, you got good memory. Because this was back in February, right? Yes. So do you remember this?
Yeah.
She did something similar to this. So it's just like a self-introduction icebreaker thing. So I think, did she want some people to guess what the numbers meant in relation to her? Well, that's what I'm doing. So you can feel free to guess what the numbers might mean to me. Does anyone want to give it a go? Like, it really doesn't really matter.
I think you're 27 years old.
Let me check my answer. When I started working at Happy Elementary School, I was 27 years old. Thank you. Yes, you're right. Yes, Ari.
Number 15 is how many years you lived in Australia?
Yes, correct. I lived in Sydney for 15 years. Yes.
12 is the number of toes you had?
No, but there is a plus one. That is something extra. I do have something extra, but it's not toe. It's not fingers. I've got 10 fingers.
You got a baby.
No, I don't. No, not yet. No.
It's how old you were when you moved to Australia.
Plus one.
We're English
Oh,
teachers.
12. Yes. When I immigrated to Sydney, Australia, and my English level was practically 0. I was 12 years old. Yeah.
0 is the number of endangered animals you have personally killed and eaten.
No. 0 is the number of my own teaching experience in the primary school or elementary school setting, because my background is Bachelor of Art Education, and in Australia we specialize in high school environment, not in primary school teaching. Yes. So yeah, that was 0, like teaching primary school kids, years of experience.
So how many endangered animals have you killed?
Depending on which country you're from. And you want to get into the guess? I don't know. Okay, I've got an extra. The plus one is I got an extra tooth.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yes, I do. Okay, I do. I had an X-ray. I was really surprised as well. I was like 20. I'm like, what is that? Anyways, yeah. So that's a plus one. And 1 is for the number of my family dog, and his name was Happy too. I'm not died of ticks. So yeah, watch out for the ticks.
Wow.
In summer, it's not fun. Okay, next. So that's the
What
topic.
about the 21?
Pardon?
The 21?
Did I miss the 21? Oh,
I can
okay.
go
Sorry,
back.
I can go back. Yes. So I actually didn't start off in education as my first professional work. I actually started in beauty and retail. From the course, I picked up like various skills of knowledge like anatomy, nutrition, people skills, and a bit of business and organization. So my personal motto is just, stay professional and be passionate of what you're doing no matter what, because, since EV sort of coming to the end in 6-month period, so maybe some of you might want to change a different course of path. Like I've changed from retail to beauty and now education. Okay. Yeah. So that's a topic. I'm going to go back to that. It's a very broad topic. But yeah, I'll start off with maybe EV. Okay? So I taught my first EV scenario was the store. It was a very easy sort of just move along and get the kids to talk from what they can see in the room. And what I tend to focus on is get them to really practice their speaking skills. And I don't like them to mumble along. And do you guys find that like sometimes the ED kids just tend to mumble and not really saying the words properly?
Mumbling is nice. Sometimes they just mumble the words.
Yes, exactly. And you just go like, what? So there are 3 rules that I sort of stick by and which I picked up from different teachers that have stayed in Happy Elementary School last year, such as Tessa, Linda, Daryl, Gilkey, and from like different my personal observations. So rule number 1, no Chinese, or to the minimal anyway. Try not to converse in Chinese. Number 2, listen to the teacher. And I tend to do this with listen to the teacher. So that others can have a chance to learn and participate in class as well. Because you are definitely going to come across with really rowdy students and really quiet students that tend to be a really apparent characteristics. Yeah. And you're going to have kids that have really good English skills to very low. Like they can't even recognize the alphabets. Number 3, I get them to try your best and participate, because if you get them to try their best, it sort of brings up the Taiwanese, maybe the culture, and motivates them along in the classroom for a bit, even though you only have them for 40 minutes. And number 5 will be speak up. And how I get their attention is that I whisper. Okay, so because in the beginning of the first 5 minutes, you probably start losing their attention span, because you are having, the kids are year 5, so they are roughly 9 years of age. So if you just talking to them in English the whole time, you will definitely lose their attention. So when I whisper and they sort of just blink up again, and I said, I don't want you to whisper because I can't hear you. So I really need you to speak up. So I say something like, I will speak up to the kids, and they have to follow whatever I say, and then I say, we will speak up as a group. The kids definitely become more confident, and this will increase their awareness in the use of language, and they're just trying to get by in the 40 minutes that we have. So yeah, those are the rules. Does anyone want to share any classroom rules that they find it very useful, that they use in EV? Because I think you guys have been here very long time, right? Like
Yeah,
one
as
rule.
you know, as you know, I tell the kids always, if I clap my hands twice, once means look at me, twice means listen to me. I find this a good way to keep the kids under control because you don't have to use your voice every time. You don't have to say look at me, listen to me. Your voice gets so tired, your throat gets sore and stuff. So it's very easy. I usually teach them something that it's easy for me to do it loud. For them to keep under control.
True. Yes, I do hear you say that
Yeah,
beginning of
you can't miss it.
No, I can't listen. No, I didn't miss it. Anyone useful rules? They tend to, no? Zero? Nada? Really? Really? Seriously?
I got one. When we give them out, we give little, other than the money and the stamps, we started doing actual gifts. So the rule is, if you behave, if you participate, or at least people will kind of teach you, you get the more stamps and you get the more
Are you talking about passport?
rewards. Yeah,
Oh.
but actual gifts instead of like little pencils and erasers and stuff.
Oh, you guys actually give out little
We started doing it.
incentives?
Yeah, and that seems to work. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
It's part of the rules.
Yeah,
If you do it, you get something.
you get something like a rewarding system.
Right.
Okay, cool. Anyone else? Oh, anyone can think of anything? No? Okay. Ari, what do you think?
Already? Okay.
Yes, already.
All right.
Anything?
No.
I'll remember that. I'm kidding. Yeah, so it's just an example because I personally grew up in Taiwan, so I didn't quite finish year 6 in Taiwan, but I can still remember vividly what my personal experience meant to me. So you just have to be aware of each student that you encounter have their own experience and social background differences, and different cities like Taoyuan is sort of in the middle, upper or lower depending on the school you get on the day. I grew up in Taipei, so I suppose that the kids are quite friendly and sort of above the average grades. But like I said, when we moved to Sydney, my English level was 0, and how I picked up English with a little bit of Australian accent along the way was that I had loads of listening practice from radios, native English speakers. So I think that's why we are all here in Taiwan, because we want to give the students a chance to listen to our native English with whatever country or accents you have or pronunciations. Yeah. And this is a picture of students in Sydney or Australia. So the different qualities, that's a Venn diagram. Does everyone know Venn diagrams? I think the Taiwanese students have the ability to memorize contents very quickly. So if you give them vocabs or really short phrases to pick up in the 40 minutes that you have with them is very useful. However, they are afraid of real English conversations, and they are very shy and timid, and they are even more afraid of making mistakes than normal students, I think, like from Australia or I don't know whatever countries they're from. And the Australian students, I think they obviously have the natural English accent, and they aren't stressed about their academic performance, and because they have almost no academic pressure from their parents, right? But the English village students that come to and visit your schools is that, the parents are paying a small sum for them to actually pick up something. So I think we just have to remember that as well, because we have different intentions and So in the middle, that's what I found them. All students are afraid of making mistakes. So lots and lots and lots of encouragement. And they are afraid of being corrected in the public, for sure, I think I am too still these days.
Peggy, the threat of being corrected in public, right? Do you think it's a cultural thing? Do you think it's part of Chinese culture, for example? It's a cultural thing.
I think so. Yes, I think so. I personally think, I don't know, I don't know if I have more Australian like characteristics,
Yes.
so I'm sort of like so mixed, I get really confused sometimes.
That makes sense, yeah.
But anyone else finds that they find the kids afraid to being corrected?
Yes.
Definitely.
Very.
Can you guys give me an example?
I mean, we see it every day, right? But I also think, sometimes it might be because we're foreigners a little bit, maybe.
Oh yeah, true.
But I don't know, because it's curious. I've always wondered whether if the Taiwanese teachers tries to correct them, do they get the same reaction out of the students?
I wouldn't know. What do you think, Leo?
Uh,
Because in this school, I don't speak any Chinese to students. Well, I'm not really allowed to.
I would say,
Yes.
well, first of all, it depends on the teacher. Okay, not everybody correct their children in the same way. Okay, but I found that some of the Chinese teachers will correct the kids in a very
Demeaning way.
demeaning way. You know, like you know
Condescending,
that?
that's a good word. Demeaning, yeah.
Condescending.
No, I was
yes.
told that.
No,
Yeah, that was.
supercilious, and but
So it comes down with attitude.
yeah.
And like,
I think
tone
it's
of
not
voice.
just one teacher or
Yeah.
one environment. It's more like all the years of being treated this way. So the kids tend to,
But
they're,
do you
they're
think this is
afraid.
something that the Taiwanese teachers also experience?
Yeah, because
Really?
this was done today, so they're doing it to the kids now. It's only natural, right? Yeah, it takes a real educator to just discover that just to realize one day, oh, I got to stop the cycle.
Okay.
So not a lot of teachers would do that because the Taiwanese school teachers have a lot of pressure. So when they're dealing with kids, it's more like, I really don't have time.
No.
You don't know this? Come on, you studied this before. That's.
I have to admit, I have a bit of that sort of, like when I encounter students, so I have to sort of keep reminding myself that's not actually,
Yeah, same
because
with
English
me.
comes so naturally
Yeah.
to me, and they look at me and thinking, you're Asian, and they're
Yeah.
thinking, you're Taiwanese, right? Where are you from? I'm like, where are you from?
It might be also because you understand what they say.
Yes,
right?
exactly. So
a
that's a
difference.
pro.
We can load off and say, okay, we don't know what they're saying, so no point in asking.
I
Yeah.
have a perfect example. When I was in the States, when I was going through the language schools, because my English wasn't good enough at the beginning, so I had to study for 1 semester. And at the same time, there were few Chinese students with me, and I don't know how to say it. I'm more, I don't know, I'm more careless in a way, or carefree in a way. I don't really care about what people say about me, and I'm a big talker. I like to talk to people, and I have you call it in Chinese, a thick face.
Thick skin.
Thick
Oh,
skin.
thick-
So even though I make mistakes, I don't care if I'm being ridiculed. So I remember one time, all the international students were watching a movie. The movie was, I still remember the name, it's called Cutting Edge, about a bunch of two ice skaters. Like one was a hockey player, but he got hurt, couldn't do professional hockey anymore, so he had to try figure skating. Okay, so anyway, so while he finally made it to the finals, like in a big game, and he had sex with this girl from the other team, and his teammate was secretly in love with him, but so she was really angry. So on the press conference, one of the reporters said, "How does it feel to skate with the other team?" And so she said it for him. She said, "It's orgasmic." And so I was having trouble with the word. I said, "Orgasmic," and everybody was laughing. I said, "What is so funny about the word orgasmic?" And there were a lot of girls at the scene, so they were all saying, "Leo, check the dictionary." At the beginning, they were trying to explain to me, "This is when you are very happy." I said, "Well, why don't you say you are very, very happy? Why don't you say
Yeah, what is it?
and then they said, it's not there yet. It's not that level. It's more than that. And then eventually they gave up explaining it to me, and they said, "Leo, just go check the dictionary." The next time I saw those girls again, they were like, "Leo, did you check the dictionary?" I was was still young at the time. I was like, yeah, check, it's a bad word. And I mean, one example is that for me, I'm not an ordinary Taiwanese person because I don't get, like, I don't get shamed by this, when people ridicule me. But I just laughed out. But for any other Taiwanese person, they would never, ever speak to those girls again. So that's the difference. Yeah.
I agree. Yeah, definitely. I think so. Yeah. I think so. Yeah. So that was encouraged in public. Does anyone want to add anything to the Venn diagram? Because this, I have to admit, this was done very quickly. But feel free to add any points.
I got something to
Yes.
add to what Lee was saying. I think a lot of this fear stems from peer pressure, classmate pressure. Some of these kids, if they're too good at English, they don't want to participate because they'll be made fun of.
I get polarized
Yeah.
reaction from the kids, so that's a really good point. I have kids, they are so good. And what I do with those students is that I would actually tell them when it comes to matching activities or vocab you have to put up with flashcards, I will ask them to play for one round and then next time, second round, give others a chance.
Someone else.
Yes, exactly. Because I said to them, I know you can do it, so move aside. So yeah, give others a chance.
And
But
notice that they get made fun of if you're too low.
yes.
So it's catch-22, you're damaged to do, you're damaged to know. So a lot of these kids are too afraid because they'll get bullied or made fun of anyways.
Yes, and you don't know what's going to happen, what happens outside of your classroom as well, because you don't really see them the second time. Thank you.
To add on to that, what I'm thinking is that in my experience in my last job was a lot of the kids were afraid that I, as a native speaker, was judging them in a harsh and negative way because none of them could, because even though I was teaching like
They
7th,
probably had
8th,
the
9th
mentality
graders,
of they will never be as good as you, like,
yeah, which there was like 2 of them who I can recall who actually had that potential, but those were the exceptions, those 2 exceptions in the entire school. So I think a lot of the kids, especially where I was, because it was a middle of nowhere town, were just basically afraid that because I am a native speaker from the US, that I was going to be a harsh critic of how they spoke English when they never practiced outside of school because none of my parents ever
So
spoke.
it comes back to your attitude towards students and your persona. And I think first impression always counts. I've sort of trial and tested my presence in front of the students, like the very first second I meet them, whether I give them a really, I'm tired, it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, you're my 4th class, I really want to get over and done with. And still, like the next day, it's like 2 o'clock still, and I just be more perked, give them a perky energy and a better vibe, so they can still carry on through the last lesson of the class. I think it's going to work or not.
Yes.
Okay. And one thing I personally I'm very picky is the pronunciation. So I tend to correct them. So like I can be a bit harsh when it comes to correcting the pronunciations because I know that I've lived in Sydney, Australia for the last 15 years and they're probably thinking, why are you being mean to me? It's like, I'm only here for like 40 minutes, why are you being mean to me? But I want them to go back to their own classroom or their own school with something improved. Like, I don't want them to go home with, learn nothing and just get by. And I think that's why we all, each of us as teachers, that's what we are here for. That's our purpose and intention to, let them take on with something. So this is what I looked up yesterday as well. So it's like from not essay, but paper. So at present, it says, at present, English has been shown to be the major world language, which I think we can all agree. It's like English and then Chinese. It is the native language of many throughout the world. but for an even greater number, English is learnt as a second language by, like ESL learners. So I think our aim is to bring listening and speaking levels up, because in EV we don't really do any writing or academic testing. So I think for us as an educator and good language learners, we can use a variety of strategies to assist these students in gaining command over new language skills. These steps used by a learner to facilitate the acquisition, storage, or retrieval of information is that it's okay if they forget the vocabulary, because forgetting is actually a step towards learning something new. So I think we can just, keep that in mind. It's okay that, because I forget sometimes. I have very short memory span as well. It's like, what am I doing here? It's like, Now my next slide is that find your purpose. I think it's, for us as educators, I think you have to have the passion. Just double check with yourself. Maybe every time when you encounter new students, check where's your passion, what is your mission. So mission goes back to your lesson planning, I suppose. Professionalism. And vocation, right? What you love doing will always affect what the world needs, and it will also affect what you can do, and what the students can take away with them, and just give the students what you're good at. Don't force yourself to do something you're not very good at. So hopefully you guys have learned something or taken away anything. That's it. Sorry, I'm very unorganized, I have to admit. I'm not very good at